When I think about the military, what comes to mind is brotherhood. Or another way of saying it is, I am my brother's keeper. Or another way of saying it is, pictorially is, there was a picture that I saw when I was living in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was a picture of a brother on a wall with his hand down, and all you could see was from the shoulder down, and then there was another brother with his arm up, and they were holding hands like the person was pulling them up. And the title of the picture is, He Ain't Heavy. Now, I went to the Naval Academy with the class of 1976, the best class in the history of the Naval Academy. And we all came in from different parts of the country. California, DC, country, city, and we all had different ideas, different views, different political aspirations, but we had two things in common. Number one, we wanted to graduate. Number two, we chose to serve our country. Now, when you come in the military, in any branch of the service, there's a breakdown process because you have to learn to follow before you learn to lead. At the Naval Academy, when you are there and you're a plebe, your first year, there's this book called Reef Points. Reef Points is the Bible of the Naval Academy. It's got stats on aircraft, ships, submarines, history, and anything else that you can think of. And the expectation is that you know that book cold. So when an upperclassman asks you a question, you need to be able to answer it like that. Now, if you're a plebe, you only have 4 answers. Yes, sir. No, sir. No excuse, sir. Or I'll find out, sir. Now, if you don't know the answer, you only got 2. No excuse, sir. And I'll find out, sir. Now, I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how fast you are. I don't care how strong you are. At some point in time, you're not going to know the answer. And when you don't know the answer, there are going to be some consequences. Not good. And why is that important? That's important because when you're in combat, the most important thing is telling the truth. So you got to understand that no matter what the consequences are, I need to tell the truth. If I'm flying a helicopter and my crew chief tells me that the oil is full and it's half full, I could crash the aircraft and hurt some people. Lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, never build your classmate. Never throw your classmate under the bus. If I'm being asked some questions from an upper class and my classmate over here is being asked a question and he doesn't know the answer, but I know the answer, I don't blurt it out because I don't want to make him look bad. We win together, we lose together. There's no big guys and no little U's in the military. In the Marine Corps, when you go to the field or you go to combat and it's time to eat, the troops eat first. The officers eat last. Why is that important? Because when you go to combat, you need to understand that if I take care of my troops will take care of me. If I don't take care of my troops won't take care of me. Not like corporate America. What happens in corporate America? When you become the CEO or the president of a company, what's the first thing that happens? You get you a big bonus and you get you a parking spot so you only have to go a few feet because you're now the big kahuna. Not in the military. Officers serve their troops. 2010, December 23rd, I go in for a routine colonoscopy. The doctor says, everything looks good. I go to Florida, spend some time with the family. My stomach starts hurting. Go to the doctor. Doc, my stomach's hurting. He says, okay, I know what it is. Let me give you some pills. Go home. Came back a week later. Stomach still hurting. Doc, it's not working. He says, okay, I know what it is. I'm going to give you these pills. I go home, come back, still nothing. Finally, the doctor says, I'm going to do an x-ray of your stomach. Okay? I'm sitting at the office with my partner, Gary Tompkins. I get the call. The doctor says, I see enlarged lymph nodes in your stomach, and I'm going to refer you to an oncologist. I heard the C word, cancer. Three things went through my mind. Number one, how long am I going to be here? Number two, what am I going to do while I'm here? Number three, who am I going to do it with? Those were the three things that went through my mind. My life became very, very simple. That stuff that I thought was important no longer became important. So what did I focus on? Three things: faith, family, and friends. Faith, family, and friends. I went to the doctor, my oncologist, 6 rounds of chemotherapy. 6 rounds of chemotherapy. I'm weak, legs are swollen, I'm very weak, and I basically, the doctor finally, after about a month and a half, diagnosed me with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now you gotta understand, there is no stage 5. Okay, there is no stage 5 cancer, okay? So I go through the treatment. While I'm going through the treatment, I'm just trying to get better. Just trying to get better. And during that time period, I basically burned through all my savings. Burned through all my savings, okay? So I'm sick and I'm broke. And I said, okay, what am I gonna do? I said, I'm gonna suck my pride in and I'm gonna call on my brothers. I called Kevin, who's the president of my class at the Naval Academy. Kevin called Keith, who's a company mate of mine at the Naval Academy. Keith put together a GoFundMe program before GoFundMe was invented. My classmates financially supported me, along with my classmates and alumni, for an entire year. An entire year, okay? My wife and I, during my recovery period, we're sitting at the table, eating breakfast. We hear this huge or loud noise in our yard. We're trying to figure out what in the world is that. We run to the window. We look. We see 3 people on our lawn. We don't know who they are. My wife says, that's Colonel Whitley and his wife Ann. And that's somebody on a tractor cutting the grass. Colonel Whitley was the CEO of my kids' Air Force Junior ROTC at Daniel High School. And we had developed a bond. Colonel Whitley paid for my lawn service for an entire year. An entire year. Okay? So how has all this affected me and what I do now? Okay? Basically what I do now is I help people. I transform lives. I help people go from mediocre to maximizing their potential. I do speaking. I do executive coaching. I do consulting, and I do professional recruiting. Now, when you think about that, there are several things that come to mind. Okay? Now, and based on my background, I wrote a book called Sharp Leadership: Overcome Adversity to Lead Through Authenticity. CarlSharperson.com. Okay? And what that book does is it talks about my trials and tribulations. It starts with, if you've ever been in a situation where you're not wanted in a position or a location, but you got to be there, what do you do with that? How about if you're in the military and you're trying to transition from the military to corporate America? How about if you're trying to navigate through corporate America? What if you are in a situation where you've got a job, not the perfect job, but your boss comes in one day and says, guess what, buddy, you're fired. How do you lose your job without losing your mind? And then the last thing, what if you go to the doctor and you get a bad report? Or heaven forbid, a loved one gets a bad report. Now, if you ask any Medal of Honor winners that have sacrificed their life to save their brothers, if you ask the Medal of Honor winner, why did you charge that machine gun nest with only a bayonet in your mouth? Why did you haul 3 of your buddies a mile away with bullets flying over your head? Why did you do that? If you ask them that, they all say the exact same thing. They say the exact same thing that my classmates would say, and my alumni would say, why did you provide Carl financial support for an entire year? It's the same question if you ask Colonel Whitley, why did you provide lawn service for an entire year? If you ask those Medal of Honor winners, why did you do what you do? They say the exact same thing. Because he would do it for me. Because he would do it for me. Now, so, it's all about, now that's a true indicator of brotherhood. Or another way to say it, I am my brother's keeper. Or another way to say it is, he ain't heavy, he's my brother. I salute all my comrades who have gone before me.